I just don't get it. It's not.
I mean, it is what it is. Linus got hacked. That's how we're going to start this up. I mean, I could title it that. I don't know. Me and Steve were just here talking. Are we just? I like that word someone threw at me, kvetching for views. See, I think anyone who's, unless you're giving some actionable tips regarding the Linus Tech tip hacks, it's just that you're just grabbing views. I mean, what's the action item? And maybe I'll put together like some security things you should be doing, because I think a lot about this. And also, welcome to Vlog Thursday number 323, Synology, UniFi Dream Machine updates and lab testing in Errata. And I got Steve with me. All right, we got those things out of the way. Back to what I knew the questions would be. And I told Steve's like, what's the vlog gonna be about? I'm like, I know what I want it to be about, kind of, but I definitely know what people will want to make it about. The Linus stuff. The brief on the hack, though, in case you didn't know, his channel got taken over. The usual crypto scam stuff that's all over the YouTube, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see what videos were actually posted, but John Hammond actually did a video and I think it was the same one John Hammond talked about, like the same stupid live stream of crypto scam stuff.
So they posted a live stream of crypto scam.
Yeah, they delete all your videos and they just have your channel be one live stream of crypto scams that sends out to all your users. Like,
so just crypto. I don't think we need to add scams.
Yeah, you're right. The two go hand in hand. If it's crypto, you can probably finish it. It's like it should be an autocomplete in my phone by this point in time. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened because it's too early to tell. The problem is the way Google works, and there's another YouTuber. I thought about reaching out to him because I just don't understand. Now, I'm not saying this YouTuber is wrong that got his channel taken over. I don't know what parameters. Me and Steve are just playing with this right now. And one of the problems is if I go to my two-factor and if I go to my security settings, it prompts me for my password. So if you steal someone's session tokens, that will get you in, but that doesn't get you the password. So they pretty much, the best I can tell, have to have the password, because that was the debate. There's a few people that got hacked that said you didn't have to have the password. And me and Steve's personal account's the same way. Going into security in his Google account prompted him for his password, like to make any changes to it. Like you can get to security.
So Google prompt, one device, two-step verification, and it has my number, so I'm not putting it on the screen. But if I go to the arrow to edit any of that, it immediately takes me to another challenge for my password and says, hey, enter your password again. Now, the only thing I could think of is if you had the session and the password, you could do it.
Yes.
But you already had the password. Therefore, if you had the session token, you bypassed the first attempt of two-factor and the prompt that a new device logged in.
Right.
So maybe that's the angle of it, is you steal the session key, but you also have the password in order to make the changes.
Okay. Like I said, it's I just don't have the right answer for it. So I don't know what caused it. We don't know the details of Linus. So, I don't know if they took over his computer. It's way too early to tell. There's no point in speculating. One thing is opportunistic as a YouTuber. If you create videos right now with Linus Tech Tips in the title, you're a good chance of being discovered because you can't find the actual Linus Tech Tip videos at all right now. They're all, whether they're gone or listed as private, I don't know. I'm positive. I feel actually confident Linus will do a debrief. He had his account taken over before. Someone cloned his phone, and so that's a thing. So that happens sometimes. But let's get to the better stuff to talk about than Linus. I mean, I shared all my thoughts on it. I don't got much else.
It's all speculative right now.
It's very speculative. I don't have any real good answers for it, but I do have, out of the EA store, the UDM Pro running 3.0. I didn't think this day would come that they would finally get it on there. This is that big discrepancy with UniFi that makes them so confusing, because the 3.0 is what brings forth like the WireGuard features. If you had a UDM SE, you have it. If you had a UDM Pro, even right now, it's still in early release. It's not, early access, at least it's just early access, but UniFi is actually getting there. They're finally getting to what do you call it? The
big boy level.
Big boy level. There's the good words for it. Yeah. So let's look at the network. We actually have it set up. We have WireGuard in here. They can do WireGuard now, finally. Look at this magic here. Ooh, WireGuard.
Like normal WireGuard, like to other things, or their own?
No, not their own weird version of it, because like OpenVPN, of course, is their own weird version of it.
Yeah.
Can we add? Yeah, if we added OpenVPN, because OpenVPN still isn't. You have to create a new radius. Oh, okay, creates a radius user. Can you do user VPN in here, Steve?
You could not, unless they added it in this version. You could not do a user VPN with OpenVPN unless you were using the UDM with, what do they call that? The UniFi access system or whatever. Not access, but
yeah, that online thing.
Yeah. And it was basically their own spin of OpenVPN.
Well, I'll be. Looks like you can actually set it.
How does it create the certs and everything, though?
Huh. Apply changes. Let's find out. Port.
But what did it do?
We'll have to play with this. Maybe, did they actually get real OpenVPN in here? That would be interesting, too. I can create users. Huh. That's interesting. They get OpenVPN
configuration file you can download.
But yeah.
Download that. Is it a standard OVPN file with all
It is.
Okay.
Holy crap. I didn't know they did that too.
There was a way to do it. People were like, you went in, you ran command line, you generated the certs, and you had to manually export it. How it took them this long to just do what people were doing in the command line and add a couple buttons for it's beyond me.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked. This is good news. It only took how many years after they released it to come all the way back to the way normal companies do VPN? Like, they did everything. They're like a petulant child. I'm not doing the thing that all the other companies do. I'm going to do my own VPN. It's going to be weird. And it's, yeah. Tom is joining us on the dark side. No, I'm not joining it. UID is the other thing you were looking for. That's that other one, Steve.
Yeah, UID. That's it.
Yeah.
Somebody had to set that up because they were using L2TP and encountered I got a husband and wife who both work from home. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's just dumb. And they're finally getting it going, wait, does everyone use these VPN protocols? Like everyone? And we're the weird people? Yes, you are, Ubiquiti. You've decided to be the weird people. You're finally getting around to going, hey, I guess the way other people do it is not for some arbitrary reason, but for, like, because it's the better way to do it. So neat. I'll actually try connecting this. I knew they added WireGuard, so
they've had built-in radius.
Yeah, they've had it, but now they have their. No, I doubt they're going to support proper EAP TLS. I doubt that. So, I don't know.
The workaround we've been using for the people who want the auth and that for like user auth for VPNs to their radius servers, tie it to a captive portal. It's easier.
Yeah. Another way to do it. Yeah. Thanks, Cody. Switch to the dark side of UniFi routing, Tom and Steve. No, because they still have more complex way. What would you say is easier, UniFi or pfSense for setting up rules in a firewall?
If I'm doing a large network, pfSense. Yeah. My biggest complaint with UniFi is that usually the way I explain it, they're inverse to one another. UniFi by default is route all your networks to all your other networks. pfSense is nothing goes anywhere until I tell it to. So when you start building at scale with rules and you're like, well, I got 10 VLANs. that becomes a nightmare to manage all those rules in UniFi, not to mention the way it displays them, because it's just like one big list versus they are broken down per interface in pfSense.
Yes. When you start playing with all these rules, I just don't find it as easy as, I don't know. It's not where they exceed on the easy side.
No.
Oh, I like the pause the rules option. Oh, port and IP groups, create entries.
Yeah, it does have the ability to do aliases. You can still do the RFC rule with it, but also you have to create the allow, like what do they call that? The allow related.
I really like the animation.
I do like the animation.
This makes me happy.
Yes. I will say now the traffic management feature is very legit in UniFi. I do actually like that. We have a couple clients who are running older USGs as a basically they're double natting their guest network and using the USG to do a block of peer-to-peer traffic. Because a lot of the other firewall companies that when you start getting into wanting to do that, it's an upcharge. And like Untangle's a prime example. They charge you per endpoint. Well, how many endpoints do you have on your guest network? People don't know. It's a gamble. Today I could have 1. Tomorrow I could have 100. I don't know.
Yeah, and here's one of the other problems I have right away. So here's our WireGuard VPN. Here's our Open VPN. But when we go to traffic management,
yeah,
I remember this being a problem before. So if we set these devices, the internet's the interface. So you can't choose the routing based on the firewall.
Well, I don't know if it would show up if you had it as a site, but yeah, probably not.
Right. This is one of the things that I complained about before when I looked at it, going, you're so close. You're almost there. Why can't I add a...
The problem is they're getting closer, but we're crawling. Like, look how many years it took them to get multi-WAN IP.
Yeah. Multi-WAN IP. We're an enterprise firewall. What is your multi-WAN IP?
Oops. We only put it on the UDMs then.
Oh, hold on. Can we do? It looks like we can add a static route for our. Assuming that. Let me go back over to WireGuard. So if we go to WireGuard, and I'm going to edit this one. SWG. All right. Oh, traffic management, static route. If I can do a static interface. Nope. What the hell is it routing over? Oh, what's the other thing that's named test in here?
You named 2 things test, Open VPN and WireGuard, didn't
you? Well,
it's one of those 2.
So let's go ahead and do this one. Apply. So it lets me do route. Well, that's dumb because people are going to use WireGuard for site to site. I mean, they might use it for.
They didn't get that far yet.
I don't know
what it in. Give them a minute.
I don't know. Wait, is there a network called test? No. Where does it find this test at?
Site-to-site VPN. Okay, we can route over an IPsec VPN, but not the other one. Maybe because they're not active? I don't know.
Well, this one's not active. This is just a test I did.
I don't know. Then
I got nothing. All right. They're still broken. Edge router. I don't think edge routers long for this world, to be honest with you. I think as long as people buy them, they may keep supporting them for a while, but I don't really feel like, I once in a while get people asking about edge router stuff, but we just don't even see it much in the market anymore. I think everyone's moved on to, comparatively speaking, they just haven't, what's that new one? They did release a new model, but it's still, yeah. How many requests are we seeing in the consulting for edge router? I've seen one.
We're usually it's usually the same problem as the people who buy the MikroTik. I bought it because it was cheap. but it's hard to configure, and you're going to pay somebody more to configure it than you paid for the product.
Yeah. I mean, if you know the product, cool, but
yeah,
pfSense is just way more flexible. So that's...
And it has some of the same anomalies the UniFi line does of what does that setting do? Well, it's the same setting in the edge router, and it's a mystery of how it works. Like QoS, it's a box.
Yeah, Cody says we should be able to add a static route for OpenVPN, but
We'll have to play with it. Maybe we have to actually fully configure it.
Well, and maybe it's a type of OpenVPN. I set it up as OpenVPN server, not an OpenVPN site to site. Matter of fact, interestingly, you notice what's missing from here. So here's the VPN test WireGuard test OpenVPN. Maybe we got to create one. Oh, once you create one OpenVPN, you can't create another. That's interesting.
Okay.
So you're only allowed one.
Well, that's as a VPN server. What if you do it under site to site? So go down a bit more. Create site to site VPN.
Ah, okay. This is.
But you can't do WireGuard for a site to site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they're getting there. They're getting there, little by little. So this is what. So test open site to site. There we go. Oh, he's got to do a PSK. Pretty sure key 512 characters. I'm not going to go through the trouble of setting this up.
Oh, the open. Yeah, it's still their own custom open VPN where you point it at opposite boxes with a key.
Yep. Okay. I've gone back to UDM, Unified Dumb Machine. Just they're so close. Why can't you guys just do what everyone else is doing? Are they releasing a new Gateway Pro for this? Doubt it.
I thought they had that new.
They have that new one, but you don't get WireGuard. WireGuard's not coming to that. WireGuard's just in the UDM and the UDM SE. UDM Pro, UDM SE get WireGuard. The other one does not. So if we go to...
And I think that's a lot of what hurts them now, too, is their marketing for the UDMs. People keep buying them because they think they need one. I guess it's hurting and helping. On the one hand, you're selling more of this awful product because people think they need it. But also, people are getting frustrated because they have to deal with this product that they thought they needed. Then they call us up and we're like, well, why'd you get that? Well, I thought I needed it to run the UniFi controller. No, not really. Yeah.
This is the thing that was in the Gateway Pro was in forever. But as far as I know, the Gateway Pro is not getting WireGuard. And this is part of the problem. If we like UniFi kind of skips over some of that when you try to figure that out. So if I try to Google it, dual WAN security gateway, blah, blah, blah. Like, where's the spec sheet? Because everything lands you on the store. Would you buy it? My video is the next one up, but where it doesn't say in here, like, do we have a full spec? No, there's not the I don't know where the landing page went. And much more. Let's click on and much more. Just brings you to their general site here. Switching consoles, which of course doesn't include this. So figuring out if it has those features is not easy. Now we know why people get confused. Like even right here, it's not bringing me to, I want to make sure I'm on the right page here.
What are you trying to do?
Sharing the wrong tab.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Like when you go to the page, the UniFi's page on it, Gateway Pro, ideal with Cloud Console. Okay. But there's no landing page for it that tells me all of its features.
How much is HostiFi?
I don't know. It's on their website.
Well, their Cloud Console is $30 a month.
Oh. Yeah. Click the datasheet button. I don't think the datasheet button, though, has, it doesn't tell you the support.
No, right. It probably won't give you the info on if it does.
Right. They'll tell you some of the basics on it, but they don't tell you, I don't see, do you see the datasheet button on here? Oh, there it is. But I don't think it has anything about VPN in here. It's just like power usage, ports. There we go. Nothing about what VPN version it supports. They don't make that easy, which of course leads to more people buying product that's not the right product for what their use case is. And once again, they're their own worst enemy on trying to make this sellable. Like, how do I know which one to buy? Where's the specs on it? Oh, so the UDM Pro supports WireGuard. No, the UDM SC. Why does the SC support WireGuard and the other one doesn't? Well, it's in early access. They're supposed to support it eventually. You're like,
Now I wonder if they're going to add back the one benefit of that one versus the UDMs. I still don't think you can do the automatic VPN in the UDM.
No, I don't think so either.
And that was a huge benefit of the original USG line, was put them all in the same controller. Tell site A, talk to site B. No static addresses, no problem.
Yeah. And, you can go on Reddit, you can go places and look at all the release notes, but that's part of the challenge. When you're buying a product, the product page usually tells me why I'm buying the product and what features are in the product. Chasing release notes is a difficult way to determine a product. It's just like, for all the work they do to make everything easier, and that being their claim, I don't know. Mention EA and lots of customers run. Yeah, always make sure you buy on what is available, not what might be available for a product. We're just going to say that's an important, and this is way outside of Ubiquiti. Any product that promises you buy it now, I'll get the feature in there later, be pretty suspect. You better be happy with the feature set, because you may only get the feature set it has now. Oh, man. I don't know if they have any other commentary on this, but I want to like it. I like where they're going. They're getting better. They're making these improvements.
It's still great for a home or small office.
Yes.
If you're talking a small office, 1 or 2 networks and a guest network, no real failover or anything, no need for a VPN, perfect.
Someone said, "Oh, the highly scalable enterprise cloud server key," and I don't know. Honestly, for the most part, we just host your own controller. It's not that hard to do. HostiFi, completely a great option. A lot of people like it if you don't want to deal with updating your controller yourself. HostiFi is fine. Hosting yourself is not that hard. I've done a video recently on it. I'm actually going to do a video about how to host it in the cloud. I've been so busy, I haven't had time to finish it, but hopefully next week I will. It's going to be, I'm moving more of my infrastructure over to Linode, and Linode's going to sponsor the video, because Linode is a great place to do it. Use our offer code down below. But we're just going to work it out so you can
we get more silly putty from them?
From Linode?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Is it Linode I had silly putty from?
I think so. That green silly putty I had, that's like,
oh yeah,
we've had it so long, it's pretty shot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the good news is at least they have WireGuard. So this is going to be something the home users are like, hey, cool, WireGuard. But business users, I mean, I guess I'll have to wait till this. I'm not even going to do a video until it actually comes out of EA. But having OpenVPN on there for a small business, that's a selling point. Being able to have a user remotely get back into the network, that's cool. Finally. How many years has this device been out? 3-4 years later, they're getting a feature that most of these have. Yeah, Docker container is an option. HostiFi is an option.
Windows is an option, but it breaks.
Yeah, Windows is an option, but don't. There's always bugs when people try to run it Windows. Just don't do that.
Yeah, I got to move mine still.
The product page, the Next Gen Gateway Pro is under the store. Then look at routing and offloading. Oh, is it? I didn't know they had it in the store already. So,
I was gonna say, I think that's out.
Is it under consoles?
No, isn't that what you had was the next gen gateway?
Yeah. Oh, I thought they said no, there's another one they were talking about. There's another cloud. I guess someone said there's
Oh
next
yeah,
gen
that's
cloud
still
key.
early access, that weird big cloud key thing.
Yeah. For me, UniFi is still the future, but at least I get the more important news on how they develop their products. Thanks for that. I mean, yeah, we still like it. There's a discussion in my forums about this. There's a couple people in my forums that always suggest weird things. They're like, oh, you should get Cisco Catalyst. I'm like, the person says they're overwhelmed and don't have time to learn new things and need the network updated. I'm like, hands down, UniFi is the easiest way to set up a network. If you don't have time and you don't already know Cisco, unless you're going to put the time into learning how Cisco works and bonding a bunch of Catalyst switches together, I'm like, yeah. Any alternative to UniFi other than pfSense? I mean, that's kind of a broad question. UniFi we like for switching and access points. pfSense we like for firewall. Which other ones are there? There's other firewall softwares out there. I would just say hands down, pfSense is probably the most well-supported, well-documented one out there. I don't think anyone else in the open source world, especially when you start looking at the amount of documentation out there, not just my videos, but just like their forums and everything. I can't find a reason not to go with pfSense unless you have some traffic filtering need. Once you go that way, I mean, if you're going to go for traffic filtering, you're going into paid subscriptions. You can go with Arista, which used to be Untangle.
And that's where we got those few clients who they had USGs that they moved off of, and we put that we put it in front of a network to do that filtering, and then they're still running a pfSense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have another person.
I have like 4.
They're going to proxy. They're going to a different filtering solution. And for our clients, we use Zoros for filtering all the client stuff. So I don't think I've seen filtering tied into the firewall that I like. Even my friends that run things like Fortinet, they don't even like using the Fortinet filtering. They usually use a third-party solution because they don't like the Fortinet solution for it.
Yeah, like I said, the biggest thing for the UniFi one is I have about 5-6 clients who run a US. So they have a pfSense. Then off the pfSense, they have a guest network that is fed off of a UniFi firewall. And then that UniFi firewall does the filtering for P2P traffic because they got takedown notices on their guest network. But it makes it hard to buy something like from Untangle or Cisco or anything because they want to know how many endpoints you have.
Right.
It's a guest network. There's not a good way to know that. So you're either paying a lot for extra seats that may not be getting used, or you don't have enough and people are bypassing it.
Yep. There's no easy answer on that one there. Don't filter your guest network. I don't know.
Well, it's just for the P2P issue because look at that client who has that multi-story office building. They have an open guest network for when you come in and, you're visiting tenants and people will just come in with torrents running on their laptops.
So if some of the smaller companies would work on building a unified cross-brand configuration engine, they would clean up. I can't remember the name of the tool. There is tools out there. They're just expensive and complicated. So it's not that there isn't one. There is a multi-brand configuration tool out there to manage configs. And its name eludes me. I met a couple of people when I was at the Ohio Linux Fest, but it's not an easy tool. It's also expensive. By the way, one of the things that shocked me about it is pfSense is in their supported list, so they could do configuration management for like multi-brand. They do it for their target audience, Fortune 1000 companies, because Fortune 1000 companies always have a mix of product. They can give you one master interface to all your mix of product. The name eludes me of the company. It was cool what they could do. Very complicated, huge number of employees to manage it because of it was a cool solution that brought everything in one place for configuration management, but it's a big undertaking. I seen someone, I don't have any details about Sophos. I know Sophos changed their license. People were angry. I seen it. I said, I don't use Sophos. I'm skipping over that. And this is one of the things I complained about with the way they do their licensing for things. The fact that like everything's registered to get the license becomes the problem, because it's not an open source product. It's free until we decide it's not. And Arista changed the way they do their free version with Untangle when Arista bought them. So same problem. And I've always commented about that going, yeah, you're going to have to deal with this. Like if you have to register, unlock with a license, even if that license doesn't have a cost, and someone could then point out what
have a cost yet.
Well, it doesn't have a cost yet. And someone could say that about pfSense Plus, but pfSense CE, despite the negative and naysayers, it's at 2.7 and close to release right now. They're still updating the community edition. It doesn't require any type of registration. The only thing you're missing is those couple extra features, such as ZFS boot environments. I like the boot environments. I think they're great. But yeah, if you go, man, I just don't want to deal with registration, then you don't have to. You're losing out on boot environments and a couple other features. So no, not Ansible and not Red Hat Ansible. Ansible can be used for configuration management, but this is a turnkey solution, not like you have to build your own solution. Sophos XG Home is free. No, there's some license change Sophos did. People ask me about it, and I'm like, I just don't use Sophos, and I'm not going to look into and compare licenses on a product I don't use. I know people tag me, I think, on Twitter on it, and we're mad. Hey, Sophos changed these rules. I don't use it. Yeah, Aruba Instant on. Aruba Instant is just ugly.
It's gotten better from when you did the video.
Yeah.
Because I watched your video, then I went and worked with it. I'm like, oh, this is actually a few of the things you said didn't exist now exist.
Yeah. I know they added, because I believe at the time they didn't have any VLAN options. There's something big missing.
Yeah, you can now mass add VLANs. My only complaint was it wouldn't add it to the uplink port for some reason. You had to manually go do that one.
Yeah. The UI is still ugly. I don't know why. Firewall seems to have got this weird following. I've never used one. I
don't know anybody who. I think the premise is that you take it as a travel firewall.
No. They have three models. You have the kind of a base model. You got the fancy model at $485. I just thought they're basically the part I don't know, and I just don't feel like digging into them. The way they work is everything loops through their network. Well, not loops through, reaches out to their network to be able to get all this working. They're like, hey, cool, privacy VPN and all these things. They just took a basic firewall and integrated some features, but it all works on a phone, which is my first problem. Like you have to configure it with your phone. It's really targeted at
Thanks,
consumer.
I hate it.
Yeah, there's my first problem of everything is, let's use this. Oh, they have a web interface now. A web interface beta. It's still beta. Their first and foremost is it's a phone software. The other thing that I don't understand, what happens if it can't phone home and get these data updates it does for things? Does it stop working? I mean, it seems like a good consumer product. It doesn't seem like it has a business use case, and it doesn't have all the advanced features you would expect of a where's their documentation, user manual? Like, look how basic all this stuff is. It's all basic, which is fine. I don't mind that. Because they have a bridge mode too, so that's interesting. You can use it with Google Nest. Let's go install the gold firewall. Step 1, you have to use the app. There's where me and Steve kind of nope ourselves out. Step 1, use app.
I don't want to use an app. I don't want to scan a QR code to order food. I hate this timeline.
Yeah. Yeah. So I install Purple. Does Purple? Step 1, download app. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of where I stop looking at it, is going, okay. I mean, if you're a consumer and you don't mind this, and compared to what is that one company like Netgear or whoever makes some of the basic devices, I mean, use it if it makes you happy. But yeah, I wouldn't even say home, or I wouldn't say small biz user. I mean, I guess it depends on what you consider a small business user. As long as that small business user doesn't have any VPN needs, then yeah, it'll probably work. Why am I not using Sophos? And it really comes down to I've not seen anything that Sophos offers besides their licensing and registration that would make me want to use them. pfSense covers my needs, and there's nothing wrong with pfSense. So why would I do something else? I've also been a little confused by some of the Sophos stuff. So, because I know they had multiple versions. I don't know if they still do. So if we look up the Sophos Firewall, isn't there more than one? I know you got to, so online demo, get pricing. I think you got to search for the free version. They don't. Online demo, cloud management. As far as I know, everything they do is trying to get you to buy the full version. There we go. Here's the free home edition. Download, and then you register it. Stop viruses, dual AV scanning engine. You don't even get to the download unless you put some. Does it give me a download or does it email me a download? Bet it emails. Oh, no, it lets me download it. Neat. So you can download it. I think it needs a registration. Yeah, your evaluation serial number. Right there. So I don't need to keep doing that. But this is why, and I don't know why, I don't really feel like evaluating it.
Oh yeah, I still can't.
It's the problem is it's too hard to compare all of them together. There's no easy comparison chart to them. FortiGate, I'm like not FortiGate. FortiGate's really popular, but man, are they bad when it comes to security. Their history of security is garbage. They have hard coded so many passwords and things in there. When they hard coded a backdoor into their own VPN, read that story because it came out at DEF CON, and you're like, really? What kind of company does that? Oh, wait, a bunch of morons as far as I'm concerned.
The ones who like NSA money.
Yeah, no, it's even dumber than that. I wish that's why they did it. Did you ever hear the story of why they did it?
No.
So I did a video on this because it's so stupid it hurts. Apparently they had a client big enough that asked them for custom firmware, and in that custom firmware they wanted a backdoor into the VPN. And so they made the custom firmware, and somehow it ended up in the main code base. I'm like, and when our security researcher found it, they didn't believe them that it was there because they didn't realize it ended up in the main code base. So they were going back and forth with the security researcher. And so they did a DEF CON video on it. And Black Hat or DEF CON, I can't remember where the talk was given. It was a few years ago. And it was like, really? You built in a backdoor to your VPN because a client asked you to? Dumb.
You want to put the one from Dakota up? The E-rate question?
Which one?
A few down from the one you just had up.
Dakota, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, do you guys work with
do it?
Yeah.
We're gonna do that at some point. We keep saying that.
It's a headache.
It's actually not bad.
Well, it depends which one.
Yeah, there's two programs. There's Spin
one
and
sucks,
Bear.
One doesn't.
We do Bear. Spin is you front the money for the work. The school pays their percentage, and then you chase the federal government for the rest, and hope you have people to chase the money and do the paperwork and dot all the I's while they run you around. The Bear program is a lot easier because a lot of these schools already have people who come in and do like E-rate consulting to help them. So the Bear program, the school pays the full amount, and then they get reimbursed the percentage, which usually their E-rate people will work with them on. The only problem you run into with that is on larger projects, because the school has to pay you, they have to already have that money in their budget. So it comes down to project size.
Mm-hmm. I tried Sophos at home because MSP I was working for loved them. I lasted a week before I ditched and went back to pfSense. I've heard people tell me they don't like the interface for it. I said I don't feel like learning a new interface. Let's suspect this. So another Sophos question. Yeah.
I did like when you used a lot of the extra features in Sophos, it did feel like it was pretty secure because you could lock down a lot of stuff. But it also made it hard when you wanted to switch IT companies and they lost a password.
I've seen people talk about Cisco Firepower. Yeah, no. Yeah. Meraki, if you don't mind the license fees, but also Meraki doesn't do complicated things. That's where Meraki starts falling apart. You're kind of pigeonholed in to some of the things that they offer, and that's about it. What's the average ticket size for a 500 kid school? That school we did out in the Midwest, God, how many buildings was that? That was 5 buildings.
Was it 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had, I think, a couple churches in that too that they just also supplied the network to.
And that one was like more of a $250,000 project. So, I mean, it really depends. The prices are over the place. It depends on what they need. We have some local
that was
schools.
just a network overhaul. Some of the other schools we do, they have, and it comes down to how much the support the school has. That school had a bunch of level 1 guys who could knew where stuff had to be roughly and could run around, but they weren't racking stuff and doing a lot of the more complex terminations, versus another school we do work with. He's got a crew who are all really smart, and they're calling us as like a last ditch effort of, yeah, we can't figure this out.
Yeah. We do schools of all sizes, all budgets. We've done some small stuff, helped out some small like charter schools. I've done a couple consulting gigs on there. Then we have some larger whole districts that we work with. And this is not the amount of time it takes to set all those up, and especially because I don't really feel like taking the time to do Vios or Tensor. They're both command line. I mean, they both have similar command lines. You just have to learn the nuance of them, but it's one of those things. If I did a whole video on it, it's kind of a diminishing returns problem as well. Take the time, learn it, and the video barely won't get any views, because if you go too complicated on things on YouTube, you just don't get any audience for it. And then the hours it takes. Me and Jay talked about this, and I haven't even looked. Jay did an in-depth video on something that took him almost a month to learn. Like, the hours he has into this is insane. I want to see how many views it's got. But sometimes we just go, should I put X number of hours into something to not even get views or returns or anything from it? Jay did a whole video on OpenStack. Let me find his playlist for it. Yeah. So that video took him, let's see, where's Learn OpenStack Part 1. So he broke it down because it's so long. Each one's about a half-hour video. This is what a complicated video looks like on YouTube. After a month, Jay got 9,000 views on a video that he spent like a month and a half working on to produce. At some point, and that's how it is with the firewall videos. I could do these, like, I'm going to stop making videos for a while. I'm going to really hammer down and do this Vios video for 1,000 people to watch. I don't think there's enough demand on that as a topic that it would get more views besides Chris. Chris would watch it, but I don't think Chris would watch it enough to make it worthwhile. So no offense, Chris, not likely I'm going to do a video on Vios and that. Maybe someone can prove me wrong and do some videos on those, and I'll see them be incredibly popular, and that'd be cool. But I tell you, once you start walking people through complex command line routing stuff, yeah. Coming from Sophos pfSense, I will say Sophos is good before they started junk with limiting firmware updates. The interface was slow compared to pfSense. Yeah, slow interface. Wasn't the last time you used Untangle, you were complaining about how slow it was?
Yeah, on the little ZX boxes, which are almost like those little Protectellis, every time you made a change, because it would reload all the states, the entire box would pause like for 5-10 seconds. And when you're trying to make a bunch of changes, that gets frustrating quick. Versus I'm used to pfSense where I'm zipping around between windows. and like, okay, I'm on this window. I made this change, and then sometimes it hangs a bit, but then usually it's usually when you're making a large change, like applying like a new network interface or something.
Yeah. I don't think you've done any configs like this. pfSense is a router only. You can turn off the firewall features in pfSense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did that transparent one for the guy who wanted DHCP to just hand out public addresses.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did the transparent mode, and then you can still apply firewall rules in the transparent mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've done some weird pfSense stuff.
Yeah.
I got our weird I called it Tunnel Bear because I love the memes of like Tunnel Bear. Did we lose a Tom? Bye, Tom. I'm assuming y'all can still hear me. But anyway, I did the weird open VPN that runs on a virtual server. Tom's back. That is used for our remote sites to connect back to us if we have a client who's behind like CGNAT or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some weird stuff you can do with it. It's not popular, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. No, I got a new mouse and I hit the back button. I went back to the other page where StreamYard is what we do. So yeah, such is life. Video about pfSense. The thing is, there's been like one person we did this for. It's not a popular solution. It's it's not rocket appliance to do it.
I've done it for 2 people, but it is weird.
Yeah.
All you do is you just bridge a couple interfaces together and then give it one of the public IPs and then turn on DHCP and tell it, go hand these out to those other servers, please. That's really it.
Yep. One of the colleges around here is using pfSense. Curious to know what they're using it for. I was surprised to see it on a list of solutions in use in the area. I mean, when it comes to, we use it for a lot of the business clients. We've got it even in some of the small, racks and colos that people have. pfSense is just solid for doing all kinds of things like that. The only thing missing from pfSense, but I don't think it's missing because it's not where I think it should be done, is if you need web filtering stuff. So outside of that, yeah. Steve,
there's so many questions. I'm still like, I am way behind.
That's all right. We're just going to jump ahead because some of them aren't real questions.
Yeah.
What I kind of want is sensor BIOS router that can route my IP, LB, 56K traffic, and TIMI traffic at close to line speeds. Tensor is the replacement for those type of situations. Learn Tensor. You can get a lab copy from pfSense. That's what it does, is high speed routing.
What's the routing limit though on pfSense?
It's the CPU. So for each stream on depends on which CPU you get limited. I think the 7100 is where I demoed it. I think you can only do a 2.5 or 1.5. No.
So what I'm hearing is you build a little Ryzen system and we're done.
Right. Yeah, I don't know where the upper limits are, but there's some limitations. As a matter of fact, we should probably test that because we have that Ryzen lab system. Maybe I'll load pfSense on it and see how fast it can route. There's some limitations when it's a single TCP stream. But then again, that's a vanity number. Not all the time people are trying to route a single TCP stream. Usually they're aggregating. They have 1,000 people wanting a connection, so they need the bigger pipe, and it divvies up the big pipe fine. It just doesn't do, if I want the entirety of that 10 gig pipe between me and somewhere else with one single stream, that's where it fails. Yeah, pfSense, a BGP, and OSPF. People ask about it once in a while, but I don't know that there's enough demand for a video on it. Web filtering is why I struggle with pfSense for home. Yeah, web filtering is overrated.
Just use Cloudflare DNS.
pfSense with how pfSense with OpenVPN. We can probably do that video. That's at least a common use case there.
Yeah, that's actually super common. I've done that a handful of times.
Yeah, that one's easy.
pfSense has good documentation on how to do it, and it's pretty easy to set up.
Yeah, that's why I had Jeremy in our lab reset up that server. I just got to restore it back because it was on that one super fast Epic system. I got to restore it back to the lab, but that's one of the reasons I wanted in the lab is to do some AD videos with things like pfSense. Oh, he's already talking about the BSD limitations. Yeah, no one's going to rewrite the kernel. And this is also why Tensor is using vector packet routing in Linux. There's already a solution for it, but the reality is there's not enough demand on YouTube for me to talk about that particular aspect. So my Synology video. Oh, yeah. Synology has their new cameras. They're out today. I did a video on it. It's just their own Synology cameras. It's interesting. I like Synology's going this route. It's cool.
Yeah, we did build a couple pfSenses with Verizon. I actually had a client who he built it on like 2 4th gen i5 Dells he had. And he's like, we ran OpenVPN. We passed all the traffic through it. We got 300 megs over the OpenVPN. He's like, do you think it would be faster if I bought like the 5100? I'm like, no, stay with what you have. You're beating that.
Yeah, exactly. So, now, I don't understand why you would say this, but you're entitled to your own opinion, even if it doesn't make any sense. Synology licensing, these are the new Synology cameras that came out there, but Synology licenses are perpetual. So
and relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, they're right.
Looking at you, Exact Vision, who's $120 a license a year.
Yeah, so let's do a quick comparison here because this is a discussion. There's a video that's going to be going up over on NAS Compares where we talk about this. I did this video with him, and it's a whole licensing discussion. I think Synology is very reasonably priced when it comes to their licensing. Exact Vision's an easy example. Exact Vision per camera, renewing, not perpetual, $120 a year. Synology
1 or 2 years. I can't remember for sure, but yes.
Yeah. So but there's a recurring fee, and this is common for the commercial systems. Now let's bring it over to Synology. And Synology is going one-time fee, also transferable, also not tied to the camera.
Well,
they're transferable.
Transferable to other people or other devices on your account?
Other NVRs that you own. So no, you can't just, I don't know what happens if I give my licenses to you and you registered them on your own account.
They logically shouldn't work then.
Yeah.
Because
but you can transfer them to, if you buy a new NVR, the licenses do transfer.
What do you mean?
If I said, wow, I just want 20 more cameras. Oh, my NVR can't handle it. Let me go buy another NVR. My licenses will transfer. Yeah, I can reuse them on the next system I buy.
Exact does that too, though.
Yeah. A lot of other companies do. But what shocks me about Synology is their perpetual licenses, and they do that. I didn't expect a perpetual license to do that.
Not to mention, when you buy their newer NVR models, I think Tom and I have the same one, the what is it, the 1622?
Yeah.
That comes with 8 licenses out of the box.
Yeah, 1622. And the licenses, by the way, are Synology camera license. I'm pulling up on Amazon so someone can look and know this.
They vary based on the amount you buy.
Yep.
I think a single one is close to $60, but if you buy the 8-pack, the price comes way down.
Right. So yeah, it's $56 for a single one. And it comes down more if you buy 8 of them. They're 8 for, so you save
a lot.
Yeah. Hey, look, we've bought these before. Last purchased 7 times. So
yeah,
we bought a bunch of these licenses. Yeah, are they comparable to UniFi Protect? I like Synology because it has way more features than Protect. Protect's a nice system, but Synology kills them in features. Like Synology's way more in depth.
I said yes, they're better than Protect because you can buy them.
That's a whole nother thing. Availability means everything. But these are the ones that they're offering. And when you get a Synology camera, you don't need the licenses because it's built in. Well, technically, it's going to be rolled into the fee of the camera, but whatever.
How much are the cameras?
We don't know. That's a mystery.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they just released them yesterday. We've had one at the shop for a week or 2 weeks.
I'm at the point where I assume that all cameras have a feedback to the company, whether we know about it or not. That's fair. But when we do the Synology systems, usually I'll set a static address for the Synology, and then I just have that network block all other traffic. So I'll create a VLAN where the only rule is my NVR gets internet. Everything else go away. Now, what I'm curious on, do they have like an auto discovery where...
Yeah.
So, well, okay, let me back up and say that again, but better. Do they have something like the UniFi system where once I adopt them, if they're all DHCP, it just keeps finding them?
Yeah, they've got like a discovery tool where it will find groups of them. So they did a great job on this. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with how they're doing it. So
that saves us the headache that we would run into with the Hikvision and the Reolink and so forth, Amcrest, whoever else. Of man, we got to have a bunch of network info to go set all these cameras static.
Right.
Now they're way more competitive with UniFi because that was the one huge benefit of UniFi.
And they've got a new discovery tool that's in the version 9. We just haven't really played with it much, but they've got something there. But the other cool thing is when you're setting these up, all this stuff is all inside of it. So all the you don't have to log into the camera. You can log into the camera to do it, but you can do everything from inside Synology because it has all these extended menus. It even has firmware updates in here.
So, I control all my Amcrest stuff directly from it pulls the time and all the settings directly from the Synology.
Yeah. Well, there's still certain things like if you want to set up the Amcrest face detection or person detection, you don't get to set that up. You don't go through those menus in Synology. You still got to go to the Amcrest for it. With the Synology, you can control those settings too. Like when you do the intrusion detection, you can choose and set this up. You're doing it just like you would inside the Amcrest camera. So that's where the cool integration comes in.
That's like a people counter, isn't it?
Yeah. It also has a loitering thing.
Yeah, you set that up, didn't you?
I did. I want to see who's loitering. You can also control the edge recording, which is kind of cool. So you can pop in a little card. It looks like it's all controlled right here without logging into the camera, and it auto discovers cameras that are on the same subnet. So I think they're doing a great job with them.
Yeah, and like I said, the licensing cost is so low, and if you don't have to buy the license for the Synology cameras, then
I'm unclear if you can sell them to another person. I think they're registered to the account, though.
Yeah, if you register them to the... I don't know, because normally we don't always register the NVRs when we sell them. So you can enter them without actually registering them to an email, and then they're registered to that NVR. I don't know.
Check out Axis. Look, Axis is not cheap. I'm not saying Axis is bad. I'm just saying they're not cheap. Axis cameras are... What are they going for now? I mean, I've heard people tell me how good a lot of the Axis cameras are, but you're talking about $449 for a camera here. That's a 1920 1080, not even a 4K camera. Like their cameras are just a lot more. So we had someone that wanted a quote. They wanted to go with a US company that was certified and everything else. We give them a quote and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, the cameras you want. I think the cameras that specifically the models they wanted were $900 a camera. The person wanted like 15 cameras. I'm like, yeah. The comparable one from Amcrest is $129 each. He's like,
they're like, can we do non-US? Would you go with GeoVision? They're not on the watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take that. Okay, good talk.
No, Synology does not have a doorbell.
But Amcrest and other companies do.
Can you connect an Amcrest doorbell to a Synology? I don't think I've seen doorbells that support OMVIF.
You might not get the full functionality. Actually, here's a good question. Just, is there a doorbell? So the first question, Amcrest doorbell.
And to answer the other person's question, yes, the AI is inside the camera. You don't need a DVA model to do this. I've not looked at Digital Watchdog, but I remember when I looked at it briefly, I just like the Synology better. The Synology system is very reliable, very well supported, documented well. Yeah. Yeah, XactVision has great camera support. It's just it comes at a price.
It's expensive.
It's expensive.
Unless you let those licenses lapse.
Yeah.
And then just don't open it to the world. I know a lot of people who do that one.
Talking TrueNAS core scales, is it true to say that in BSD scales on Linux? Or scale? I don't understand the question. TrueNAS core is based on BSD. TrueNAS scales based on Linux.
The AD410 from Amcrest is on the supported list for surveillance station version 586 and above, and is listed as an intercom. So,
is it OMVIF?
I don't know if it's OMVIF, because they do. You don't necessarily have to pick OMVIF if it's listed in there, so you may be able to select it as an actual.
And the Synology DVA models do support license plates. So that's it. Looking where this at.
What you looking for?
Yeah, there it is. No, someone asked about license plate recognition. That's an option in the DVA models of Synology. They do support license plate recognition. I tested. I have a video on it. If you look at my DVA video, I cover license plate recognition in it. On the topic of cameras, you know what affordable NVRs that can do 48 cams? Synology. We're just going to keep answering Synology. That's my goal. Like I know there's other model out there, but can configure surveillance station to restrict certain users to view only. Yes. I believe you have granular control.
I don't know. I got to set that up, so I'll find out.
Yeah. Per camera permission. I feel like you can do that. Maybe. I don't know. Where would I set that up at? Privilege profile. Add. Test. Next. Oh, yeah. So the answer is, if anyone can see this, I know it's kind of small, but yeah, I can choose the cameras and create a profile for camera privilege. So the answer is yes, you can do that in Synology. You have to create a profile and you assign users to that profile with those privileges. Once again, Synology for the win. It's funny because people saying, oh man, I can't use a camera. I want a camera system that's free and doesn't have licenses, and it needs to be secure, and it needs to have a bug bounty program where they do software vetting and do everything. I'm like, who do you think pays for all this? sometimes people get a little out of hand with their, I want everything for free. I do too, but I also live in a real world where I can't have it all for free. Yeah, that's I don't know. Because someone else, I did have one. Oh, I forgot to put this up as a banner.
Is it the give us money? Oh, send us questions.
Send us questions.
Why don't you have give us money as one?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I should have a give us money one. I had someone ask this question. I don't know how to answer it really. They're having some trouble, which I know the problem they're having. You can search it. There's a forum post about it, but they're saying they seem apathetic. How did they word this? Let me just read it. The part this person says, I don't know how to answer this really as a question. They basically don't think that the people at the TrueNAS are ready to jump on the problems. And this comes down to the problem of supporting an open source and free program.
At the TrueNAS.
Yeah, the people at the TrueNAS, the IX Systems people. So I set up my NAS last weekend. While TrueNAS has some nice features, there's been a lot of learning and annoyance curve. Okay. Are they always so apathetic to issues? I feel like the product is lacking in some areas. It seems they really want to blow folks off of not our problem attitude. Now, the person's not really telling me what was hard or what that problem is. As you mentioned in the past, the add-ons of VMs and the response that my own digging is I'm having like stuck alert process. I'm seeing them decline responsibility often enough times after less than a week. I'm not ready to jump on something else, but I don't understand what they're saying. I mean, the stuck alert problem is a bug. There's people working on the bug. I don't know that they're declining responsibility for it. That's the part I don't understand. Like, they don't jump on it. But by the way, but you pay for Microsoft. And if there's someone who is definitely apathetic to your problems, it's Microsoft. They don't care. They're like, oh, it broke everything. Oh, another 0 day. That's terrible. Those terms and conditions says that's not our fault. They ignore their enterprise customers who pay them dearly for exchange and ignore them. So I think
he hit the button again. I bet he hit the button again. Any questions for me while he's gone? Just throw a party.
I found the back button again. But I think the people at TrueNAS do a good job for being an open source product of supporting everybody. But I mean, there's only so much they can't do. Super hand holding of I'm a brand new user and I don't know what a NAS is.
And this is why, UniFi got away from UniFi Video and went to UniFi Protect. And why even Blue Iris supports kind of the same way. I've seen the questions of, I'm running 10 cameras on this Core 2 Duo I found in the garbage. Why is it lagging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like the moment you let people choose their own hardware, you're just in for a support nightmare. I get it. Like that's a problem. Yeah, put a cover on that button. I agree. Remove my back button. Although I got this Corsair gaming mouse. You know what the cool thing about it is? It's got that little button on the side that my microphone's covering. It's got the button on the side that changes the DPI. Do you know what that's really good for when you're not playing games? Editing video. So you can keep your mouse at a good speed, but when you want to do the precise movement to cut video and edit, turns out holding that button in to change it down, it's not just for sniping.
Your the G502 has that button too.
Yeah. I was going to get a Z502. The reason I got the Corsair is it was like $30 off at Best Buy. Like I was like $30 off. And this is a nice, I think it's the same one Travis might have. It's a nicer mouse. I like it.
I like my 502. I have 3 of them. I got a spare one in a box somewhere. Maybe 2 spares in a box.
Yeah. I have the wireless one as well. Or what's the one that has the couple buttons on the side? It's not the 502. Is it the 503?
The 602, I actually have to fix your old one. These ones?
Yeah, I got one of those. So weird.
Do you still have it, or is it in the box here with me?
No. My wife had it and it died. It won't pair with the controller anymore. It just
okay.
But the Bluetooth works fine, so the mouse is fine. It just doesn't work with the dongle anymore.
Yeah, I have your old 602 and another one that you guys just wore the left click out on. I ordered the switches to fix it. I just haven't gotten to it.
Yeah. You can't get support from HP and can't get a quote for a renewal. So TrueNAS over MSA. Yeah, we have someone I'm working with tomorrow that's having all kinds of problems with, I think it's one of the other HP storage products they bought. Like they bought support and they're still not very helpful. Like they're paying for support contracts on expensive equipment and still not getting good help, which is fine because they hired us for consulting on it. So do yourself a favor and don't get a Razer mouse.
I have
maybe the question should be, is TrueNAS Scale based on BSD or a Linux variant? How long has Scale not been? Scale from day one, Scale has been based on Linux. From day one, TrueNAS Core has been based on BSD. There was never anything else. So I don't know what Linus video you're talking about, but I also I haven't done a video on it, but I have a forum post on it. There's a encryption bug I've run into, or decryption bug specifically, to get to the details of it with Scale that I don't think exists in Core, but I haven't had time to reload a Core system to do the test again. But my answer, and I'll admit, are they apathetic? Sure. May find the post and I'll pull the reply up and we'll say, is this an apathetic reply? This is them going, we're not fixing it right now, is basically what I got out of them. Which is whatever. It's just an accepted problem. Where's my posts? Your content. Oh, I forgot. I got to share that tab. Present, share screen. But basically, and I'll throw this link down there if anyone can just read the entirety of the post. There we go. But there's still some issues when using Intel Atom C3758. Now, I bring this up because this is the one they're actually shipping in their FreeNAS Mini and Mini R. So this is a processor by IX Systems, chose by IX Systems, not Tom hodgepodging things together.
What's the Mini R?
What's that?
What's the Mini R?
Oh, that's that rack mount Mini that they sent me. That's actually coming to my studio because I'm doing everything in 4K 30 with ProRes now, and my files are too big and I'm exceeding my NAS. But that's got a bunch of storage in it. Anyways, this is the response. As you can manage, our QA standard process test for functional operation. Basically, not speed. We're built for reliability, not speed, folks. And we've now started performance testing for distant use cases. Linux encryption is very different than FreeBSD, so there are several issues to be resolved. More improvements are coming later this month. But that's fine. I mean, it's not a bad answer, but it is kind of it ain't there. And I had a client ask me about this because I've done the testing. They said, matter of fact, it's the person I'm consulting with tomorrow. They're thinking about buying one of those. Hey, Tom, did you say there's a problem with it? Yes. If you encrypt the drive. Do you need encrypted drives? He says, nope, not at all. I said, perfect. You don't have the problem is not yours. And my solution to the problem was, all these are my videos are not anything else. And by the way, this problem doesn't seem to happen on fast computers. It happens, but it's so fast it doesn't matter. But on an Atom processor, it's so slow it does matter. So Tom's solution, I unencrypted all my videos. So just so anyone's wondering, if you ever stole my NAS, you'd have all my videos. You'd be able to extract them out of the hard drive.
Hey, guess what? I have an internet connection in YouTube. I have all your videos.
I know they all end up on YouTube anyways. I'm like, can you upload them for me? Do you want all my ProRes RAW files? They're rather big. You'd have to take the NAS to get them because they're a lot. So anyways, yeah, but the little esoteric details like that matter because even if you do have a fast processor, if you're using Scale, there is an edge case of which you will run into some performance issues. But it's an edge case. It's not end of the world. It's like, hey, do you have these scenarios where you're moving these singular large files? Well, this is a problem you may run into. And they're supposed to fix it in the next version. So many details. Someone just emailed another question in.
Oh, cool.
pfSense DNS configuration. Oh, okay.
Go on.
Thank you for taking the time to address my horribly written email. Upon further research, I found that snort was the problem. Okay. I think I covered this last week, which was basically DNS wasn't working. What'd they say? DNS is causing issue with Gmail and mobile apps. Nope, it was snort. So I suggested in the video that you've turned something else on, probably snort or Serracata. So yes, has Serracata ever angered Steve? At least once a week.
I wouldn't call it angry. It just makes me give up.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to, stop an attack and then I can't even get in because Serracata thinks I'm the attack now. I'm just like, guess I'm going to go make food.
Yeah. So that's, yes.
It happens.
pfSense question. I have a small box running pfSense which drops WAN randomly every 24 hours. Only a restart fixes it. Which Nick are you using, a Realtek or a Broadcom? Both of those things will give you headaches.
He said Realtek.
Oh, you said Realtek?
Yep.
Yeah, get rid of the. Oh, yeah. Could it be the Realtek Nicks? Yes.
Probably. They're Realtek Nicks.
Yep. I seen it at the bottom line there.
Even not running pfSense, they're Realtek Nicks.
Any suggestions synchronizing large files from home office limited upload? You can use SyncThing. Unless it's another ZFS system, then you'd use ZFS send. The most efficient way to do it is ZFS send, but that's it. Next one, it might be something like SyncThing is awesome if it's not a ZFS system, but limited bandwidth, at some point you're facing limited bandwidth. You can only do as optimized as possible. Go Intel mix. Learn that the hard way. Between Realtek and Broadcom, you just hate yourself if you use those. Get Starlink.
It's not a bad service. I just hate giving Elon money.
Hi, guys. Have you done or have currently running XCP setups that host storage where you have a complete replica VM offsite? Keeson. You can only replicate offsite as fast as your data connection is offsite. So it's not hard to do. It just requires you to have enough bandwidth to do it. So I don't really, you can set, for example, like the replication to disaster recovery backups. Sure, I can set them to be replicated at another site at certain intervals, but that interval is a measure of how much data do you create between those intervals. Is the bandwidth between the two sites bigger or smaller than that delta? It's sure we can do it. At what cost? If you have the money to do it, awesome. I think for initial sync, I'll bring an external hard drive, then set up ZFSN. Yep, that's if you're using two ZFS systems, you can do that, but it does require as well that you it's best just to bring the two TrueNAS systems together. Doing an intermediary sync is a much more complicated process. It's not a file sync. ZFS send is a block level sync. It says this data set at the block level should match this data set or ZVol. That's it. There's not like you're copying files and synchronizing them. Broadcom. Yeah. Does Intel still produce NIC chips? Yes, they do. Yeah. A lot of the 2.5 gig chips are those Intel 225 and 226 ones. Those are really popular. It's doing data sets, so it doesn't really matter about the pool. Your ZFS send sends from one ZFS data set to another ZFS data set. It doesn't really matter about the pool. The pools don't have to be the same. You just have to have enough space for it. So other than I have to have enough room to land all the data, it works. How the hell do you remember all this information?
We do it all day.
You just do it all day. That Steve's answer is 100% accurate. Once you do this every day, you're just like,
I have a lot of the same conversations, just with different people.
Yeah, you got to remember we're generally charging $300 an hour for doing this, between $200 and $300 an hour, depending on the complexity of the job. This is what we do all day, and then we come and do it on YouTube for free. So when there's 169 people, the ZFS Send is one of the 7 wonders of the modern world. Yes. Yeah, SyncThing is pretty cool. SyncThing is definitely they've done. I need to do a new video on that too, just because that product has really just added so many features that they have now that they didn't have before. Dude, those X520s are cheap. I still have the Amazon pulled up. Prices really come down on those. Is this one of them? Hold on. Yeah, this is the Intel 10 gig NICs. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is the SFP models, but they're down to like $64 and they're not listed as used anymore. It's Amazon seller, but yeah, network cards are getting a lot cheaper. Matter of fact, what I was surprised is I bought some of the Intel. I have one at the shop. Whoops. I hate this keyboard. Oh. The RJ45 one's dropped in price too. Like $100 for a pair of 10 gig. What is this Oh, that one's still a little bit pricey, but not insane. Is this the one I bought before?
I don't think it had a fan.
Yeah, the ones I didn't buy. I always buy them with bigger heat sinks and not fans. Either way, the price has really come down on these. 10 gig has gotten extremely affordable. How the hell do Telegram guest managers slow when they come out? These signals okay. I'm gonna grab some water while you answer it. I am really thirsty.
Yeah, this is a constant battle I have with ISPs, and clients love when I say this. Comcast could literally put a modem in that's on fire and tell you it's fine. The problem must be on your network. I got to the point, I don't have Comcast, I have WoW, but they had some issue with a third hop on their data center. I had to run pings, like first hop, second hop, third hop, and so forth, to show them this is exactly where the problem is. You guys need to fix this piece. I would do speed tests like periodically and just log the data. Do it from a wired computer plugged directly into the Comcast modem, and then just keep showing them, like, here's the speed test at this time. Here's the speed test at this time. Figure it out, guys. Sometimes you just have to throw enough data at them that they can't deny it, and then demand the level 2 people.
Yeah.
That's usually right where I start when I call my ISP. How can I help you? No, give me the next guy up. I don't want to talk to you.
Thank you for the donation. What I see more people asking about Linus's hack. I knew that would be like the persistent question that keeps coming up.
It happened.
Moving
on.
I know. Like, I don't know what to say about it. If there's something to be known, then there's something to be known.
We've played with FS switches a couple times. We use a lot of their fiber adapters and DACs.
Yeah, the FS stuff's not bad.
Their switches, aren't their switches kind of expensive?
They're reasonable.
Who am I thinking of then?
Here, we'll share this right here. So Linus is taking advantage of it. He's advertising clothing on the LTT store. No better time to remind you that our store is still up. What really happened? Hey, did
RuneScape?
Yeah.
Fun fact, Steam Chat actually does censor your password. Or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does.
They're making the best out of it. I mean, what are you going to do? They're fixing it, I imagine, but it's a project. So that project's underway. Oh, that's right. They still have Floatplane. So if anyone has a Floatplane account, I guess maybe they have videos over there. Maybe they uploaded a video to talk about it. I don't know. Switch to catch with Sonic while switches. 48 PoE is only 2,000. Seems too good to be true.
That seems expensive.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'm pretty sure the UniFi equivalent is like $1,200.
Yeah. And it doesn't say Sonic Wall on it. That's the most important thing. That's
yeah, the 48 Pro PoE, like Z Racer said, is 1,100.
Yeah. What's the catch? Sonic Wall. What a mess. I don't know. I'll dig around because I know people. Maybe it's worth doing a video because there's someone I know, but that would have some information on it. But the value would be in doing a video about hardening your YouTube account so this doesn't happen. But once again, who's that targeted at? Other creators. John Hammond did this video already talking about what other creators can do. So I would, he talks about specifically the same scam that showed up on there. Watch John Hammond's video. He talks about Elon crypto scams. So, and how they get on YouTube channels and what they're doing to do it. John Hammond has helped other creators who've had their channels attacked. So
it's an Elon crypto scam?
Of course it is.
Didn't know that. Not surprised, but didn't know that.
Yeah. Of course it is. If it's like, I don't know. It's just.
Did he make his own coin or is he tweeting about one or?
Well, if that's what I think the video implies. Click this link, click this offer so you can get on early with whatever new Elon scam is out there.
I was just watching that thing about where they were there was an article about that, like that a bunch of they were basically pointing out like he complained about bots on Twitter and then just gave the bots a way to get verified when he released Twitter Blue.
Yeah. It was the disaster that is that.
Yeah.
Some Android emulators can't run XMD because the exact same VM works on a local VM. How come it doesn't show up? I don't know. I've never tried to run an AMLite emulator, so that's a forum post and not a Tom question because I've never tried to run one.
They all seem so shady.
What,
like every one of them, a lot of the Android VM emulators.
Yeah. I don't know if there's an official SDK or not for that runs in a VM. I don't know. I don't do Android development, so I'm not sure.
I think they were working on making it available because they bought Cloud Ready. And I think they were working on putting it in that so that way you could install like their older version of Chrome OS and it would be included. That's what I don't remember.
Yeah, I never used it. BlueStacks used to be out there, but I never used that either. I don't do Android development. I never had an interest in doing Android emulation. So, this is a good question. Someone just emailed in.
Okay.
So does ZFS cache and dedupe work at the block or file level? Block level for both. When you're using dedupe, it doesn't figure out that the files are the same. It looks at what blocks are the same. And that's where you gain the efficiency in the deduplication of it. And the same thing with the caching. It's just caching the blocks that are asked for. This is one of the advantages ZFS has of everything being at the block level as far as like the enhancements. So they don't even care where it's at. It's just doing it at the block level. It doesn't even care where. It doesn't care what data set it's doing it. Well, the dedupe does care what data set, but the caching does not. So go ZFS. It's, as was said earlier, one of the wonders of the world. Thank you for the videos on XCPG and XCP backups. Yes, everyone should be backing up. Had a disk failure today. Oh, I'm not even going to this. This is just a dumb circular logic. The Elon crypto scam, the videos of crypto scammers claiming to be Elon, not Elon scamming. Oh, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's John Hammond's video is more in depth than mine will be on it from a topic standpoint. We already know it's just a bunch of stuff on there. So, is there a need for ZFS cache with large amounts of RAM? I feel as though I have the need for it. It's not a
gotta go fast.
Yeah, how fast do you want it to go? Like, is there a need for it to go fast? I feel the answer to that is yes. So for me, throw mine in here real quick. I am using 50 gigs of cache out of my 64 gigs of RAM. And for some people, they're going, but I wouldn't need to cache this. Well, then you probably don't need that. Matter of fact, we have that other system. Where's it at? 8.
Aptly named other system.
I think we called it APOC.
You should make one called other system.
I should.
It's the other system. What other system? The other system.
This one has 12 gigs and free 9. And the reason why, the only thing this is doing is landing backups. No one's pulling any data from it. Therefore, the cache isn't even used. So it comes down to what's your use case. If it's a backup system that doesn't need any fast reads, then why put a bunch of RAM in it? So it's, 32 gigs of RAM because that's what we had laying around. Well, 29 because this is that one, the board with the shared video. It's the Ryzen 3 with the Vega graphics.
Yeah, the 2200G, the old NVR.
Yep. But
I built that.
Yeah. It's 4 cores are rocking here. It works fine, but there's no need to put more RAM in it because we're not even using the RAM it has. It still has 9 gigs free we're not using right now. We could drop it down because the only thing being cached in is 12 gigs is it runs sync thing. Matter of fact, hey, while I'm here, okay, it is up to date. I didn't know if I had sync thing up to date. It runs sync thing and synchronizes a handful of things. But there's not much else on it. It does have 23 terabytes of used in it. But it's a backup system. It just duplicates stuff that we have. What is your naming logic? We don't have naming logic. We just kind of call things whatever we want to call them. It's whatever the naming of the day was. Hi, Tom. I could use camera if my provider is.
I already answered that. Synology with Quick Connector, UniFi with Protect.
Yep, both of them offer it. And if you're looking for more in-depth Cloudflare tunnels, we'll get you around it. So, is there any reason not to dedupe backup data sets? You don't. If the data doesn't benefit from deduping, you don't dedupe it. So deduping has a expensive cost calculating the data landing on the system. So deduplicating all the data, it can be processor intensive. Reading deduplicated data is actually easy. It's just the writing of it's hard because it's got to do all these comparisons to see if it's there. So the reason you may not want to do it is the write speed will be limited by the processor that scales up as there's more data to compare it against to see what can be duplicated. Purchase no monthly is usually how we do camera systems. It costs this much to get these cameras done and set up. This is cool. I just realized we can change this.
Change what?
We can move. They just added that button today.
Move what?
Oh. Let's see if
I'm not signed in. I don't. Oh. Put us back. I don't like it.
I don't know. We're somewhere else now.
I don't have those buttons because I'm not signed in. Yeah.
Well, we can do side by sides. We can be low. Where's the normal button now?
Yeah, but now you're covering part of the screen you're sharing.
I know. This is not ideal. There's that. That's the one I was looking for. I've now clicked too many things. All right. I don't use Unraid. Everyone who uses it seems to like it until they outgrow it, and then they don't like it anymore. So that's all I know. I don't plan on doing videos on it. It's a novel system, but it doesn't use ZFS. So that's how I feel. Like Unraid's it's a good consumer product. If it fits your needs, then rock with it. But it doesn't fit my needs. It's not performance oriented. So all right, I'm gonna wind it down here.
Okay.
I gotta go feed Marcus.
I kind of want to play ActRaiser anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see if there's anything more to do on the Linus stuff. But I know people are going to be asking about it.
Like I said, the best I could come up with from the few minutes we spent on it before the video, if you had the session token, you could bypass the original 2-factor. Hold on, I gotta go make a friend.
Oh.
And then that would let you change it. But
yeah,
you still have to have the password.
Right. And I think that's where the challenge, where the hack really happens, is they get their password. So that's where it sucks. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, hitting that like button, everything else. We went quite a while, hour 36 minutes. So hopefully everyone's using their YubiKeys or some type of hardware authentication. I do recommend these. I have both. I have a YubiKey and you have your YubiKey still, Steve, right?
No, I gave mine to Travis. I was supposed to, somebody was supposed to order me a new one because there was everybody talking about, let's get some more. And I said, yeah, I need a new one. Travis took mine.
Then order it.
And it never happened.
Oh, order one. Or you can order, you can do YubiKey because they do FIDO. You can also do the Trust keys. If you look, I bought those on Amazon. The Trust ones are pretty. Trust Key is another company that's like a competitor of YubiKey.
The only thing I want to do, and I know the Ubiquiti does it, I just want it to tie to the 2-factor portion.
Yeah.
That way, if I ever lose it, I'm not locked out because I still have my phone. It just saves me picking up my phone for the 2-factor.
Yes. That's where I use it, is for there's a few things that let me use it for that. I just don't like things that don't have dual slots. Like Screen Connect doesn't have 2 slots. You can't do either or. Like you can use it in Screen Connect, but you can't. If you do, you can't have a backup being your phone. You have to use the YubiKey all the time,
just to fill in the
2-factor.
No, I mean like just to have it auto. I thought there was a way to have it just do the TOTP.
You can do that too.
That's what I want.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to do the TOTP because I do not want to have to bring it with me. It is to stay here. And then if I have to go to a client's and I take my laptop, I will use my phone. That way I don't risk dropping it, losing it, or something stupid, because I can't keep a thing in a hand while also working at a client's without losing said thing.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about it offline, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one more question. How can I fix SyncThing doesn't have permission for certain folders when CHO and change, but after SyncThing saves folder again, change back permission? You have to set SyncThing up as the group and the user it's running as, and that's the solution for that. I generally never run into this problem because SyncThing runs as Tom on my system and syncs with other systems. So not a problem I usually run into, but the way you do it is you just build groups and put SyncThing in the same group as the users that you want the permission for.
Yeah, I don't want my keys hanging from a USB port as I walk around with my laptop in my hands. Like, I am notorious. Our wiring guy got so mad because I was literally walking around a client's when we're doing Wi-Fi, and I will walk around with my laptop like this.
Yeah.
It's a Lenovo ThinkPad. It is durable, and I will just buy another one if I break it. I don't care.
Yep.
But I mean, it's held up pretty well. And it's got my Monster Hunter sticker on it.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. This was fun, and we'll see you next week or sooner. I don't think I'm doing this. I haven't done any on the weekend, but I got to do another weekend one soon.
Yeah. So I'll be here next.
Oh, that's right. Then you become Florida man.
Yeah. I guess. How are you going to do next week? Are you going down to?
I'm going to probably do it in the morning next week.
Okay.
Are you going down there too?
Yes.
Okay.
But Eric and I, if you do it in the morning, Eric and I are working on some stuff before that possibly.
Okay.
So, but then the week after that, I could maybe. I don't know if I'd be even available the week after that. The one after that, though, because I'll be in Florida for 2 weeks, definitely available on that one.
Yeah.
I have to help my. I might be, like I told you, I might be leaving early because my uncle's having some health issues.
Yeah.
So,
Windows or Linux on a ThinkPad, Steve?
Windows.
Yep. Steve's not as big of a Linux fan, so he's got an opposing view here.
It's not that Linux is great. It's not that I hate it, but I need to be able to, there's a lot of one-off applications that when I'm in the field and want to just do some off-the-wall testing, I need to be able to run. Like, hold on, you have, an old, what do they call it? BNC camera system that only works in IE. Yeah. I sometimes have to do that.
Yep. For application things, it's definitely, yeah. And I know VirtualBox
isn't bad. I just don't feel like spinning it up every time I want to do that.
It's cumbersome.
And B, this is only, I think, it's a Ryzen processor, but it's only like a Ryzen 3. It's not like crazy fast that I want to throw resources at it.
Yeah. And we're in the Eastern time zone. Yep. Even when Steve becomes Florida man, he stays in. You're still in Eastern time zone down there, right?
Yeah. The only time the move is when I go see my friends in Illinois and stay out there for a few days, which I'm going to do this summer. And then I'm central.
Yeah.
I'm in the cornfields.
That's
I'll try. Maybe if I'm out there on a Thursday, I'll try to do a stream from there. That'll be interesting.
Do you have internet in them cornfields?
Yeah.
Well, once again, we'll say for the last time, thanks for joining us. I'm going to go feed my son, and Steve's going to play some game.
Yep.
I might do that later. I've been on Destiny, and in case anyone, by the way, if anyone plays Destiny, I play Destiny sometimes. I'm a casual gamer, but I don't know. Reach out to me with vlog Thursday at LawrenceSystems.com later.
Yeah, I just got back into RuneScape and playing Diablo 3 again because Marcus was playing it, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I got a call, so perfect timing. Later.
Yeah.